Tonight on KGW News, it's the #1 priority for firefighters in the country. The latest on a massive blaze in eastern Oregon causing uncertainty for travelers and threatening homes. Plus, the perspective of parents who watch their children fall into drug addiction.
I can't believe this happened to my kid.
Why some say Multnomah County's new plan to help is missing a major component.
It's useless, it's nothing. It's a big zero.
Then the big change for Clark County and beyond when it comes to who investigates when police pull the trigger. But first,
it's really just like a horror movie. I can't believe she's alive.
As friends rally around a Portland woman out for a walk who became the victim of a horrific dog attack. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm David Mulco. That mother of two is now in the hospital fighting to stay alive after the attack last week in North Portland near a homeless camp. Alma McCarty's in the newsroom. And Alma, you talked to her friends tonight. How's she doing?
Well, David, at this point, they tell me they're just glad Matoka Petri is alive. She lost her arm, her ear, and has undergone 5 surgeries in the last week. Police are still trying to figure out exactly what led up to the horrifying attack.
She's a good person and she would always be there for everyone else, and now it's time for us to be there for her.
Lifelong friends of Matoka Petri stepping up to support the Portland mother of two.
It's our biggest concern right now is how are we going to take care of Matoka.
Monica Estrada, alongside Julana Torres and Christine Reber, say their friend will need all the help she can get after an attack along North Columbia Boulevard.
Simply, she was walking and was attacked by a pack of dogs.
Portland police say last week at a North Portland encampment, several dogs mauled Matoka, sending her to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. 2 others were injured in an attempt to intervene.
It's probably one of the most horrific attacks I've ever, the outcome for her. I mean, I can't believe she's alive.
It's nauseating when you think about somebody you love going through that.
It's really just like a horror movie. It's so unbelievable that this would happen to somebody, let alone somebody that I love so much.
Matoka remains in the ICU after losing an arm, an ear, and possibly her eye. Her 2 daughters are right by her side.
Her eldest daughter is only 23 and she's having to make very hard decisions for her mom at this time.
Her aunties were just trying to help get the word out.
Friends started this GoFundMe for the family during what they call a difficult time and a long journey ahead.
We're all just so happy she's alive because the extent of her injuries, I mean, she's not out of the woods yet.
Matoka, if you end up seeing this sometime soon, girl, we love you and we are praying for you and we know you'll come through.
After the dog attack, Multnomah County Animal Services took 8 dogs into custody, where they're currently held pending the investigation. Police tell us at this time they haven't made any arrests. They say that's because detectives had not had a chance yet to speak with the victim due to her medical condition. David?
Well, we appreciate her friends sharing her story and cheering her on. Thank you, Alma. All right, let's turn to the multiple wildfires spreading across Oregon, beginning with the one closest to Portland right now. That is the Microwave Tower fire. It's burning near Mosier in the Gorge. As of the latest update tonight, fire has burned 700 acres. Throughout the day, airplanes have been grabbing water out of the Columbia to drop on that fire. Evacuation levels tonight remain unchanged. About 100 homes are under level 3 evacuations and 500 residences are threatened. We've also learned some are dealing with power outages. The Mosier Senior Center is also open as a cooling center and a place for people to charge devices. Many people in the area are thankful for the firefighters working to save their homes. Heidi Hart showed her gratitude by dropping off food for crews today.
I was thinking, I hope it doesn't burn down. We may not see this house again. They evacuated our hill, and so we left yesterday afternoon. I was rattled. I didn't know if I'd be able to get back in my house.
Well, the Oregon Department of Forestry is investigating the cause of this fire. And while we don't want to minimize the impact on any residents at all, keep in mind the blaze near Mosier is much smaller than what crews are dealing with in eastern Oregon. Let's show you Mosier, of course, up here. The red areas on this map show all of the land that is burned in fires that are active right now. The largest here near the Idaho border. We'll zoom in. You can see how large that is there. That is the Durkee fire, as it's called. It's the #1 priority of firefighters in the country. It spread to nearly 240,000 acres. It shut down I-84 east of Pendleton for much of the day as flames got dangerously close to the road. The interstate back open for now, though that could change at a moment's notice. Again, trip check for that. The fire growing mostly to the east. It's destroyed one home. It's threatening hundreds more. Officials say this one was sparked by lightning last Thursday night. All right, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now, keeping an eye in particular on the winds. How's it looking, Matt?
Well, the winds are dying down right now, which is great, but we're not done. We're going to get windy afternoons and evenings right on through the rest of the week. Here's the Dows right now. The wind's all the way down to 10 miles an hour, which is great. So hopefully the fire crews are able to make some headway overnight tonight. And we look at some of the other wind observations, and they're all pretty light or even calm, due for calm. Friend is calm, and a couple of other observation places that surround the Watchtower fire in Mosier have all gone calm. Rowena, Hood River East, all gone calm. So that's really great news there. What about the rest of the state? Let's check the winds in Northeast Oregon. Not bad. 10 miles an hour at Pendleton, but only 5 down in LeGrand, 7 at Baker City. Even Ontario, which is a windy spot, has gone light with winds out of the west at 5 miles an hour. So it's all good news right now as far as the wind goes, but those winds will fire up again in the afternoon. Speaking of firing up, we've got some new thunderstorms in eastern Oregon right now. You can see there are some lightning strikes there, and we may see abundant lightning tomorrow across that region. So you can see where this one is to the southwest of Brogan, west of Ontario, more lightning strikes. However, these storms have a better chance of producing rainfall. In fact, there could even be some flash flooding, believe it or not. So that's good in that if you get rain with the thunderstorms, the odds of lightning starting new fires are a little bit less. This is special imagery from the weather satellite showing the fires, the fire intensity. And while you mentioned the I-84 is open in eastern Oregon, don't trust your GPS if you're traveling over there. Any of the county roads, the Forest Service roads could easily be closed. You can see the watches and warnings there. So forecast is going to get windy again later tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and again on Thursday. David?
Yeah, good advice, Matt, with a lot of uncertainty in that forecast. Let's get to other headlines now. Some Southwest Portland residents are cleaning up after a truck drove right into their building. It turns out this isn't far from the first time this has happened. Take a look at the damage left by a pickup this afternoon at the Cloverleaf Apartments on Southwest Bertha Boulevard. This is near the Burlingame Fred Meyer. It appears it went through a retaining wall, then hit a corner of the building, causing a balcony to collapse. A neighbor said this is about the 4th time this has happened in the past 5 years.
Just a thunderous crash. It sounded like a bomb going off, and the whole building shook. I think at this point it's clear that it's not going to get fixed until something is done about having a barrier around this corner.
Fortunately, it does not appear anyone was injured, though police say it looks like the driver took off. It's unclear if they have been caught. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a new Washington state agency created by lawmakers is set to take over investigating deadly police shootings. It'll be called the Office of Independent Investigations and will begin its work in December across 12 counties in the state, including in Clark County. The plan is for it to eventually expand statewide. Multnomah County commissioners are set to hear a proposal this week to address slow ambulance response times. Portland City Council passed a resolution earlier this year that supports a plan to allow provider AMR to staff ambulances with a paramedic and an EMT instead of 2 paramedics. But County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson had refused to let it come up for debate, arguing standards of care would suffer. Now commissioners will discuss that plan on Thursday morning. And the Federal Department of Transportation has launched an investigation into Delta because of widespread flight delays and cancellations. Delta was one of many airlines that came to a near halt on Friday after that global tech outage, but it stood out as the slowest of the major carriers to recover, in part because of its crew scheduling software. Delta canceled more than 500 flights just today and says it hopes to return to normal operations by the end of the week. Well, happening tomorrow, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to address a joint session of Congress in his first international trip since the war with Hamas broke out in October. Since then, nearly 40,000 people have been killed in Gaza, with some new deaths recently reported among those taken hostage by Hamas. Today, families of American hostages criticized Netanyahu before a congressional committee, many of them pushing for a ceasefire deal that would free their loved ones.
Last night, we met Prime Minister Netanyahu again. I have to say the urgency of the matter did not seem to resonate with him.
There is no military force on earth, Navy SEALs or our special forces, that know how to get hostages out from underground. Whatever has been tried has not been successful. There's been 10 months.
Hundreds of protesters also staged a sit-in at the Capitol this afternoon, demanding the U.S. stop sending weapons to Israel. Police also put up fencing around the Capitol, expecting more protests in the coming days. President Biden is set to meet with the Israeli PM on Thursday, and VP Kamala Harris will be campaigning tomorrow on a previously scheduled trip in Indiana. You're watching KGW News, and straight ahead at 11, meet the parents fighting to save their children's lives. Why some families of drug users think Multnomah County needs to get more serious when it comes to compelling people toward recovery. Plus, the Oregon Ducks make a big splash in the Midwest, what this giant inflatable ducky was doing on the water in Indiana.